Alright, hey guys, what's going on? It is another Monday, and you know what that is? It's another murderous Monday. And I will, and I talk about killers and I upload every Monday, hence the name of this channel. And the next killer that I will be talking about is the Disney massacre, Anthony Todd. Todd? T-O-T-D. T-O-D-T. Who was he? What was his early life like? And why and how did he become so evil? I will answer that and more in this video as I take you down the perspective mind of a killer. So if you guys do not want to hear about famicide, which basically means killing your whole family, and a dog killing, I'd say click off this video and I'll see you another one. But here we go. The Todd family murders was a multiple homicide case that occurred in December of 2019 in Disney. At the best, magicalest place on earth. It was also during the pandemic, too. Wait, right? No, actually, no, it wasn't. March 2020 was. Okay. In December 2019, in Disney's planned community of Celebration, Florida. There's nothing to celebrate about. Anthony, or Tony Todd, age 44, confessed to the murders of his wife, 42-year-old Megan Todd, and their three children. Alec, age 13, Tyler, age 11, and Zoe, only age 4. Anthony was a physical therapist who had recently been served a federal warrant for healthcare fraud charges stemming from his physical therapy business. Authorities coming to issue the warrant found the man living in his house with the badly decomposed bodies of his entire family, including the dog. In 2022, Anthony Todd was convicted of the murders and sentenced to life imprisonment without the parole. An additional year was added to the killing of their pet dog, deemed an act of animal cruelty. So literally, he killed he killed 4 people. His wife, and their 3 kids, and the dog. Background of Anthony Todd. Anthony Todd's father, Robert Todd, was arrested in July 1980 and charged with hiring one of his former students to shoot and kill his wife, Loretta, in order to marry his mistress. Anthony Todd was just 4 years old at the time and witnessed the attack on his mother. The would-be assassin strictly ordered to harm no one else but Loretta and did not harm Anthony. Loretta survived the bullet to the head, which I don't know how. Well, survived the bullet to her head, and went on to remarry, as you should if your husband will want to kill you. Anthony Todd dated Megan, a physical therapist and a yoga instructor in college, and the two later married. The couple worked together at a shared physical therapy clinic they owned. After their children were born, Megan then became a stay-at-home mother while Anthony managed their clinic. The family was well known by neighbors, and the Todd children were encouraged to get involved in the arts and music. Anthony often volunteered as a youth soccer coach, and he also worked with disabled children. In 2017, according to Anthony, Megan contracted Lyme disease after a tick bite during a trip to Disney World. So, Disney, yeah. She then suffered from bouts of depression and became more reserved and isolated. The Todd family moved to Celebration, Florida after living in Connecticut for several years. Anthony Todd continued working in Connecticut at the clinic and visited the family weekly. formerly active in their Connecticut community. The Todds were withdrawn and uninvolved with their neighbors in celebration. By 2019, Anthony had gained a significant amount of weight and received diagnosis of diabetes. In April 2019, it was discovered that Anthony was charging patients for care that they had never received. An investigation for care that an investigation ensued which revealed Anthony was using the excess money to pay for the family home and celebration as well as trips to Disney World. Anthony had taken additional loans from firms in New York City who sued him for failure to pay. Todd was over 100 grand in debt. Todd initially maintained his innocence with investigators, but eventually relented and admitted to the fraud. And it was believed by investigators that Megan Todd and their children had no idea about the fraud as they were uninvolved with the business. Alright, murders. Anthony Todd's motive for the murders is unclear, as his testimony about them changed multiple times. At one point, he had claimed Megan attempted suicide by stabbing herself in the liver after killing the children. In other testimony, he said he was trying to save the family from the apocalypse and join them in the afterlife. While the Todds were usually returned to Connecticut from Florida during the winter to enjoy the snowy weather in 2019, they remained in celebration. The police performed an initial welfare check on December 29, but left when they received no response from anyone inside the house. Investigators from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of Inspector General and Osceola County deputies returned on January 13th of 2020 after disturbing cell phone texts began appearing on the family members' phone from Anthony Todt. Despite Todd's presence in Florida, mail piled up on the porch of the home, and an eviction notice was placed on the door. A warrant was issued for Anthony's arrest, and authorities arrived at the home. Anthony wandered out of his house shaking strangely. Obtaining a key from the property's landlord, authorities entered the home and discovered a pungent odor in beds throughout the house. Family members were discovered stabbed in their stomachs and smothered to death with crucifixes gripped in their hands. Zoe Todd, who was only 4 years old at the time, had decomposed to the point that authorities initially couldn't find her until they examined Megan's corpse and saw Zoe's body beneath her feet. The family dog, Breezy, was lying beneath her feet. Megan's corpse. Wait, hold on. Zoe Todd had decomposed to the point that authorities initially couldn't find her until they examined Megan's corpse and saw Zoe's body beneath her feet. The family dog Breezy was lying dead on the floor in her dog bed in the master bedroom. Anthony himself had consumed a large amount of Benadryl, in what he claimed was a suicide attempt. The children had also been drugged with Benadryl too. Now, the sentence. Anthony claimed an inability to recall the events of the murders, and also testified that his initial confession had been made under duress. Under duress. I don't know what that means. He eventually confessed to the murders after telling a story about returning to the family home to look for a missing silver Mickey Mouse necklace belonging to his daughter Zoe. In 2022, Anthony Todt was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, which was a good move on them. In a landmark move, 1 year of additional incarceration was added to his sentence for animal cruelty charges stemming from killing of the family dog. And that was everything that happened of the Disney Family Massacre Anthony Todd's case. Now, before we get out of this video, I just want to give you guys a hint of which video I'm going to be talking about next. Just let me see where the list is. This should take a couple seconds. Do 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 do. Here we go. Alright, the next one I'm gonna be doing a hint. He killed. Hold on. He killed a bunch of people in. I'm not gonna say where it is because then you'll know. But in California, and was not arrested until I want to say 2015 at the old age of 75, and he was sentenced to well, let's just say that he will not be getting out of prison. And this was like back in the 80s that he went on his killing spree. And he killed a bunch of people, and they found him like 40 years later. Maybe like 30 somewhat years later, 40 years later, and I think he was in like a wheelchair or something. I mean, because he was old and has complications. But if you guys know who I'm talking about, which you guys should know, because it's a very infamous case, okay, please leave in the comments if it will allow you to, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.